Hey guys, we're going to go ahead and show you next step here in our class. We're going to look at something called IB outlets and IB actions. So we're going to talk about how we can connect our code to our storyboard and make some cool things happen here. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to go ahead and create a new Xcode project. So let's go ahead and do that. And then as we go through our prompts, make sure we're an iOS application. Make sure we got a single view app going. Click on next. We'll just go ahead and call this one out. We'll just call it IB. Oh, actually, I'm sorry. Yeah, so we'll just go ahead and call this outlet practice. That's fine. That'll work. And then make sure we're in Swift. Make sure we're universal. Go ahead and click on next. And then just get that saved somewhere. I'm going to put mine on my desktop and click on create. And we are ready to go. Okay, so right away, let's go to our main storyboard. So the goal of this app, just to kind of show you how this all works, is we're going to put a label, we're going to put a button on here, and we're going to change the appearance of those through our code. So we're going to do some program changing, and then we're also going to use our button and show you how you can press the button to make some changes to your interface as well. So let's go ahead and get started here. Let's add a label to our storyboard. So I'm going to go ahead and drag a label out, line it to my left guideline here, make that a little bigger just so I can add some text here. And I'm just going to change that right now just to very simple hello. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we've done that before. We've connected our label. So now let's talk about how to create an IB outlet with a label. So we need to go to the top of our screen here and click on the assistant editor, which is the two circles. So that way we get our split view. So remember, we talked about this earlier, but for every storyboard or view that we have out here, it always needs to have a file attached to it. So this view controller.swift is hooked up to our storyboard here. So as soon as I get the load done, we'll go through some more. So there we go. So we need to connect these two because right now they cannot interact with each other. Okay, they're separate things right now. So we need to connect it. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create an outlet. So when we create outlets, we always want to put our outlets at the top of our code. So now as we look at this class here, just to make sure we kind of know what we're looking at, the top line is our class declaration line. So this is a view controller, and it gets all its properties from UI view controller. Okay, so again, UI view controller gives all the abilities to view controller to work. Okay, curly brace right here starts the class, and this curly brace down here ends the class. Everything inside of that will happen. That's kind of what happens for this class. So the key thing is this top one and bottom one need to be here. We're going to get rid of did receive memory warning. We do not need that. And then we've got our functions inside. We'll talk more about those in a moment here. So anyway, so now our outlets. Everything goes on the top. All right. So to create an IB outlet, we're going to click on our label. We're going to hold down Control, and then we are just going to drag to right here and let go. All right. So now we're ready to establish our connection. So we want to make sure that this says outlet. We'll just go ahead and name this label. We're going to call it Hello Label. Leave the type as UI label and go ahead and connect that. So what you see happens here is we now have connected our code, our Swift file, to the storyboard. When I put my mouse over this little circle in the middle, it highlights showing that, hey, this is what is connected. So pretty neat thing there. So now we can make changes to this within our code. Okay, so let's do this here. So let's go back to our main screen here. Okay, so now with our view controller selected, all right, so I got the blue outline. Go ahead and click on this last circle here, the connections inspector. So this shows you all the outlets we have created so far. So now again, when I put my mouse over the hello label, it highlights over on the screen. You can see the blue thing. I can't move my mouse over there because it goes away, but you can see the blue border around hello. So that tells you the outlet is good. When you see this nice circle here, that's a good thing. Okay, we'll talk about some errors that come up later and how you can use this connection inspector for that issue. So let's go ahead and click on viewcontroller.swift. Okay, so what we want to do, okay, is we want to go ahead and change the label text to something different when the app loads up. Okay, so to change that, we're going to use this thing called the view did load right here. Okay, so our view did load function. So this means when the app loads up, code in here will take place, so when the view loads. So what we need to do, and then as we look at this is a function, as one curly brace here and a second one there. So it always needs two. If you don't have it, you'll get some errors. So now what I want you to do is we're going to go ahead and call the label, or excuse me, call the outlet like we would when we called variables. So if I start typing in hello label, again, I'm going to get the ability to autocomplete. I'm going to hit enter. Okay, so I'm going to use autocomplete. So now the next thing we need to do is use something called dot syntax. So when I hit the dot button on the keyboard, okay, all of a sudden I get access to all the properties of UI label. All right, so all the different things I can work with. So now we want to change the text of the label. We want to change it from saying hello to something different. So now one way you could do is you could scroll through and see if you could find text which is right there. All right, or if you just start typing it in, autocomplete will start kind of filtering for you. We want text, so we're going to hit enter. So now basically we've said we want to access the text property of our hello label. All right, so now we're going to change that. So we want to kind of assign it. So we're going to go equal sign. And we need to go quotes because we're going to change this to a different string. Why don't we just go ahead and put your name in there? Okay. So what's happening right now is that since we have a connection established, is that when our app loads up, okay, and it starts reading through the code, when the view starts loading, it's going to access the hello label that's on the storyboard. Actually, let's do this here. Let's split this. So that way we can kind of see. So as we go through here, when view did load fires up here, it's going to access that label. All right, and then it's going to say, all right, you guys are accessing the text property, and we're going to change that to Chris Snyder. So now it says hello right now. Let's go ahead and give this a quick run and see how this looks here. All right, so we'll see if this works. So we're loading up, building, build succeeded, so that's good. And then let's see what we got here. Alright, so as this loads up, let's go to the simulator. Okay, so it's loading. We just got that kind of that start screen here. Alright, and then here we go. Okay, so it loads up, 6S Plus, the big monster iPhone. And wait for it, there it is. Chris Snyder. So as you can see, that changed. So again, look at your storyboard. Hello, but when I load the app, it changes to Chris Snyder. Okay, so again, that's because in view did load, I said I want the text of the label say Chris Snyder and not hello. So that's why you have to program things. Obviously you can change things on the storyboard, but that's going to stay there unless you change it. Okay, so that's why we're working with these outlets. So that's just a little preview of IBOutlets. All right, so again, we'll get some practice with that as we go through. But again, the key thing, just to kind of review, I'll kill my simulator here, is again, you control drag from the label to your code. Outlets always go at the top here. And then your check is just, you should get a little circle right here that verifies it. And once you have your IB outlet established, you can access that label many times. Again, so you don't have to make different outlets if you want to do different things. So I could go hello label dot text color, and then I could change that to UI color dot blue. All right, and then when the app loads up, this would change from a black color to blue. Okay, so again, as you can see, I'm using the same outlet 2 times. So you don't have to make a different outlet for the color, different outlet for the text. You just create that one outlet, then you can use it over and over and over again. So it's pretty nice to be able to do that. So that's our lesson on IB outlets. Again, questions, make sure you're asking them. But again, just use this video to help as we move forward, and then we'll see you next time. Thanks.